And
It'll say
Linda
REC
Lutz
across there. If it's
has our, do we
recording,
have
and if
visiting Rotarians
it
today?
craps out, it'll probably go into standby mode, but hopefully it'll.
Robert Broom is our only visiting Rotarian today. He's just arrived. Robert Broom, ladies and gentlemen. And now I'm looking for guests of Rotarians. Guests of Rotarians here in the dining room. Anything this way? Mark has his hand up. He has someone.
Thank you, President John. I have with me today Michael McNally, who was a formal member of our club until he moved to Spartanburg, and he's back in town, interested in getting back involved. He is the director of the North Carolina Center for Engineering and Technologies.
Welcome, Michael. Everyone else looks familiar, at least as far as I remember. I'm 55 now. All right. Announcements. Don't forget that next Friday, March the 3rd, is Polio Plus Day at Groucho's from lunchtime through dinner. And also next Saturday, that is the Stop Hunger Now event at St. Albans. So please come out for that if you can. Sandy, did you have something to say about IDLE?
Yes,
Can you say it really loud?
I can.
Okay.
I just want to remind everybody that February the 28th is our deadline to get the ads in, so we're still calling on people. Please get that and follow up and get their copy for the program. And we will be distributing tickets next Thursday, and many of you have already paid for them. Some of you have not. We will have the credit card access, so if you want to charge it, you can do that on Thursday.
Thank you, Sandy. Do we have any other announcements from the dining room? All right then, without further ado, Clarence Pugh has our sunshine report today.
Thank you very much. And we do have some sunshine. And it appears that it's out of sync in terms of the calendar, but we'll take it and just hope that we're not paying the price later. Good chance we will be if global warming means anything. Birthdays, have one birthday that I want to call attention to. David Milholland is having a birthday the 27th. David says it's not necessary to sing, but if any of the ladies want to meet him at the door, he'll be glad to take all the hugs he can get. So David, stand by at the door, okay, and I'll leave you quickly. Also, if you noticed, Meg Lott was on schedule to do this report today. Meg is busy doing her hospitality and her restaurant business, and if you noticed in the paper, she's also Professor Clem Geithner's speaker next Wednesday evening at Lenore-Ryan University in the Charles Snipes Center. So come out and support Meg and Clem. And there's been several Rotarians who have participated in that program over the years. I think John Bray is scheduled to come up later in the year. So Clem, anything you want to say about it?
No, it's actually in the McCrory Center.
It's in the McCrory Center, I'm sorry. Okay, it's in the McCrory Center, but the best part of it all, where else can you get such good free advice and counsel? So, all free to the public. A couple of things, this is a little bit, when I realized Meg wasn't going to be able to be here today, I went to my files, and I found this dated February the 7th, 2006, and I don't throw much stuff away at my house, and I found this and I thought it was pretty good. With March Madness right around the corner, I thought it was particularly appropriate, and also February being the month of love, I thought maybe this would fit. But most of us in this room, many of you probably weren't even old enough to know Many of you weren't even living when John Wooden was a coach at UCLA. But he, by most counts, is the finest coach ever in basketball. He won 10 NCAA basketball championships, and the last one was in '75. And he won 88 straight games between January the 30th of '71 to January 17 of '74. Those of us who follow basketball perhaps are a little bit annoyed by some of the antics that we see in the game, and I thought John Wooden had a few good pointers that would be worth sharing with you. Too many players are trying to make Sports Center, too few players trying to make assists, too few coaches willing to be mentors, too many freshmen out of wedlock kids, too few freshmen who will stay in school long enough to become men. He'd spend a half a day of practice teaching his men how to put on socks. Wrinkles can lead to blisters, he would warn. These huge players would sneak looks at one another and roll their eyes when he was trying to teach them that. Eventually they'd do it right, and he'd say, "Good, now for the other foot." Of the 180 players who played for him, Wooden knows the whereabouts of 172. And most of them would call to check on his health in his later years. "Discipline yourself and the others won't need to," the coach would say. "Never lie, never cheat, never steal. Earn the right to be proud and confident." If you played for him, you played by his rules. Never score without acknowledging a teammate. One word of profanity and you're done for the day. And treat your opponent with respect. He believed in hopelessly out-of-date stuff that never did anything to win championships. No dribbling behind the back or through the legs. There is no need for that, he'd say. No UCLA basketball number was retired under his watch, and he would say, "What about the rest of the players who were on the team? Didn't they contribute something?" No long hair, no facial hair. I don't know what he would say about the tattoos, but no long hair, no facial hair. They take too long to dry, and you could catch a cold leaving the gym. One day, All-American Bill Walton showed up with a full beard. "It's my right," he insisted. Wooden asked if he believed that strongly, and Walton said he did. "That's good, Bill," Coach said. "I admire people who have strong beliefs and stick by them. I really do. We're going to miss you." Walton shaved it right then and there, and Walton calls every week now to tell the coach what he thinks of it. John Walton's wife was named Nellie, and when she died on the 21st of the month. And this is a part of the February love story that I want to share with you. On the 21st of the month, the best man I know will do what he always does on the 21st of the month. He'll sit down and pen a love letter to his best girl. He'll say how much he misses her, and he loves her, and he can't wait to see her again. Then he'll fold it once, slide it into a little envelope, and walk into his bedroom. He'll go to a stack of love letters sitting there on her pillow, untie the yellow ribbon, place the new one on top, and tie the ribbon again. The stack will be 120 letters high then, because on the 21st it'll be 15 years since Nellie died, his beloved wife of 53 years. In his memory, he sleeps only on his half of the bed, only on his pillow, only on top of the sheets, never between, with just the old bedspread they shared to keep them warm. In closing, let me indicate to you that John Wooden indicated that he's not afraid to die. Death is my only chance to see Nellie again. And there's only one kind of life that really wins. That's the one that places faith in the hands of the Savior. And until that's done, we're on an aimless course that runs in circles and goes nowhere. Material possessions, winning scores, great reputations are meaningless in the eyes of the Lord because He knows who we really are. And that's all that matters. John Wooden was a great man.
Thank you, Clarence. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce our program speaker today. Our speaker today is Susan Anderson, and she is fabulous. It's a direct quote. She is executive director of the 12 counties that compose the Blue Ridge Piedmont chapter of the Red Cross for the last 7 years. She's lived in Hickory for 12 years. Is married to Rotarian Scott Anderson and they have 2 children, Catherine and Banks, and she is a graduate of UNC. Susan Anderson.
Thank you, John. All right, thank you. Well, I feel like I've come home. What fun it is to be at Thursday Rotary. Thank you for allowing me the privilege of coming back and being with you today. I always love being with this group. This was Scott's Rotary Club, and so I feel like that it's family that I'm coming home to here and see so many familiar faces. And Ann Williams, I thank you especially for your prayer for our American Red Cross. I really do. And I don't know how you follow Clarence Pugh. I mean, I don't know how you follow Pastor Pugh. But anyway, I will do my best. But I consider it a real privilege to do what I do every day. Sometimes 7 days a week, sometimes 24 hours a day. But when I get out of bed in the morning, I'm just Susan Anderson. But when I go and I get ready for my day, I get to put on this name tag. And I carry 2 brands when I wear this name tag. I carry, first and foremost, the American Red Cross, but secondly, I carry Susan Anderson. And both of those things are very, very important to me. At some point during the day, I get to put on what I call my superhero cape. Because when we go out and we go out in the middle of the night or the middle of the day or wherever we are, and we are representing the mission of this organization, when we go and stand in the cold at 3 o'clock in the morning and put our arms around people and look them in the eyes and say, I'm going to be here to see you through this. And we mean it. And the reason we mean it is because of many of the people that are sitting in this room. People that have been a part of our Red Cross family, like John Watts, who's been a board member. People like Rusty and Sarah Eisenhower, who have supported us. And many, many others, Michael and Deanne Blackburn. There are many of you, too numerous to mention. But you all give us the power that is behind our brand. Because without you, there is no American Red Cross. When I wear this, I represent the donors, but more importantly, I represent the volunteers that deliver our mission every day in this community. And what I'd like to do is give you a brief update of just a few of the things that we're doing, because there are some new programs that I am particularly really excited about. And for those of you that know me, I can get really excited. But part of what we're doing is we're looking at our mission differently. It's the same mission in that we are there when there's a house fire or there's a disaster, and we still provide shelter, food, and clothing for our clients. But we're really looking at disaster as a full cycle now. In fact, we call it disaster cycle services. And we are focusing a lot more on preparedness and readiness than we ever did before. Why are we doing that? because we want to save lives. Our goal in this chapter is to increase by 4% the number of responses that we do every year. That involves the thing that we all know is most important, and that's relationships. It's relationships with fire departments, it's relationships with emergency managers, it's letting people know that we're available and that we want that call. But also from those relationships, we, and through our elected officials, we are identifying at-risk neighborhoods and populations. We're going in with our board members and our volunteers, we're canvassing those neighborhoods. We're going door to door and either leaving information or knocking on that door and saying, we are with your American Red Cross. Do you have a working smoke alarm in your home? And most of the time they'll either say yes or I don't know. And if they say I don't know, we will ask, may we please come in and check? If they have an alarm that's not too old, we will go in, test it, and put new batteries in it. If they have an alarm that is old or that doesn't work, we go in and put brand new lithium battery powered smoke alarms in those homes for free. And we already know across the country in the last year that through our preparedness and readiness efforts with our American Red Cross, so far we have saved 169 lives because of smoke alarms that we put in. We've had one that we know for sure in our Blue Ridge Peapon area, and that was in Gaston County. And oddly enough, it was a smoke alarm that we put in a home in a neighborhood where there had been a fatality. Because that's another thing that we do. When there is a fire fatality, I am boots on the ground within 24 hours in that community, checking on those citizens to make sure they're okay, offering mental health support to them in addition to what we do for the family, but then setting up a smoke alarm installation project. And I can't even begin to tell you, particularly if you've got a community of older people, it shakes everybody to their core. And for us to come in and put working smoke alarms, we sometimes have to put bed shakers or special smoke alarms for the hearing impaired. So if you can't hear it, obviously you're not going to respond. So we put bed shakers or bright flashing lights that are attached to regular smoke alarms. And again, we do those for free. So our mission is focusing even more on saving lives. We talk to people about how do you get out of your home? What's your plan? Where are you going to go? Where are you going to meet? How are you going to account for your animals and people that are in your house? So we have about 4 touches every time we do something like that. We went to St. Stephen's Elementary School last year, and I know that you all do a lot of good work with schools and with kids. Did you all know that at St. Stephen's Elementary School, there are 9 languages spoken at that school? 9. They have a wonderful staff of English as second language faculty. They helped us develop materials for all 9 languages because many of those kids, that's almost 100% free lunch school. And so, our thinking was if almost 100% of these kids are free lunch, then there's a really good chance they don't have working smoke detectors. So we were able to go on family night. It was the best. It was parents that were engaged, that cared, faculty that was just second to none. And we were able to, in 9 different languages, talk to those people, but also send information home in book bags to ask, show your love for your family. It was around Valentine's Day. Show your love for your family and make sure you have a working smoke alarm. And they did it. And we installed, I think it was 90 different homes that we installed smoke alarms. So I'm really proud of that because we want to save lives. We want this to be a safe community. We're always going to be there to deliver our mission after the bad stuff happens. Sometimes we support emergency management in our efforts. This was a particularly busy summer. And I was so proud to be a part of the American Red Cross, but to be a partner with emergency management in Catawba County and Alexander County. when we stood out on 127 at that bridge for hours when they were searching for that incredible man that lost his life and drowned. For us to be able to be there, it was hot, oh, it was hot. And we were providing nutrition and rehydration for those workers and for the other workers that were family members and friends of the man who died. We were there for a lot of hours, but I can't think of any other place I'd rather be. And it was important. It was important to the friends of the fellow that died, but it was important to our emergency management folks. And that's a privilege, and I wouldn't take anything for that. Another one of our missions that we are working very, very hard on right now, and we're increasing our focus. How many of you have been and served in the military? Or anyone in your family has served in the military? Then you may or may not be familiar with the American Red Cross Service Armed Forces mission. This is something that I am so passionate about, and the day that I retire from Red Cross, this is something I want to continue to be involved in. We are a part of the lives of our military from the day they go to the military entrance program and sign up. We get their information, and they in turn get a personal letter from us written by a volunteer. They get a magnet to go on their loved one's refrigerator for when they go and serve, when they go to boot camp or whether they're deployed or whatever. And the number on there is the American Red Cross number. And they know that if they need anything, that they can call the American Red Cross. I know you're familiar with emergency communications. Many of you may have served and had to receive an emergency communication, something happy like a baby being born, or many times it's a death and it's not something that's happy news. But we've expanded that. We now have recognized, like the rest of the country has, that our military is larger, they're younger, they're more wounded when they return home. PTSD is a huge, huge problem that we're not addressing as well as we should. Each of our American Red Cross staff members and volunteers that work with the military now, we all have special mental health training to recognize the signs of PTSD and other things that may be being triggered or may be going on in the lives of some of our veterans. That training, it's hard stuff, but it's making a difference. We're doing what we call reconnection workshops. For instance, when our transportation unit from here that covered 4 counties was gone for 18 months, we were here boots on the ground doing Thanksgiving, doing Christmas, doing Easter. We were entertaining the kids, but then we were taking the adult family members in and talking to them about reconnectivity, educating them about what their loved one was going through, some of the changes that they might be seeing when that loved one came home. And then on the other end, where they were, we had international Red Cross members that were doing the same kind of training. Mental health is a really important part of what we do. And our volunteers that do mental health are trained psychologists and or psychiatrists. And that's something that a lot of people don't know about our organization. Something we're doing here locally that I'm very proud of, and it seems like a very small thing, but we decided, my dad, that many of you met, went over to the VA clinic here. And it was just, it's great, but there was just something missing, and we weren't really recognizing these veterans. So we now have a coffee card. The American Red Cross serves coffee over at the VA clinic here in Hickory. It's in a little Red Cross cup. We have volunteers that are over there. My favorite volunteers that are over there are our mother-daughter team that do it. And it's making a difference. I was at Aldi the other day, and I was pushing out among massive people that are at Aldi. And I got in my car, Frank, and all of a sudden, it scared the life out of me. Somebody started knocking on my window, and I was, a little high-strung. I stood up and, jerked, and I rolled my window down, because you just never know. And there was this man that was standing there, and he said, "Are you with the American Red Cross?" Well, I have an American Red Cross vehicle, so I said, "Yes, sir, I am." And he said, "I've got something I need to say to you." He kind of pulled himself up, and I looked at him, and he said, "Thank you." And I said, "For what?" And he said, "Well," he said, you were the last group I saw before I went overseas in World War II. And he said, now, when I go to the VA clinic here, you still serve me coffee. And he said, just the smile on your volunteers' faces and that simple thank you, it means the world to me. Last year, we had a Vietnam era commemorative event. If anyone in this room is a Vietnam vet, please let me know, because we had special pins made through the Department of Defense, and we had a retired general that came. We did a program, and the only purpose of that program was to say thank you for your service. And it's a really, really pretty pin. And if anyone here is a Vietnam vet, or you know anyone that is, I have a few of those left, and I would be honored to share that with you. We are now, also, we've identified another need at our VA clinic in Black Mountain, or Asheville, and Salisbury, and this one, it really, really touches my heart, because we're doing a lot of work there. We've got a lot of volunteers there. We go there, we play bingo, we take fishing poles and we fish, you know, just things. But we identified that there are hospice units there. And there were veterans in those hospice units that were dying alone. And I was there with a friend of mine, and I said, not on our watch. So we have a program now that it's basically till death do us part, or no veteran dies alone. And I was working with a veteran up in Asheville. He called, actually, and he said, I don't like to ask for much, and I don't deserve nothing, but I want to be buried in my dress blues. I said, yes, sir. So I didn't know how in the world I was going to make that happen, but for those of you that know me, I got on the phone, and we got him some dress blues, and I delivered those to him to Asher. And I said, is there anything else that I can do for you? I said, there's no family. He said, well, I've got this one sister out in Ohio, but none of us have ever had very much money, and I hadn't seen her in 4.5 years. And so I got the information, and I said, well, if you could see that sister, or if you couldn't get to see her, is there anything that you'd like to say to her, or is there anything you'd like to give her? And he said, well, our mama had a locket. And he said, I wish I had that locket, because if I did, I'd give it to my sister. Well, we went out, and we got a locket donated, and we had it engraved to my beloved sister. And through private donations, we had her flown from Ohio. So he got to see his sister before he died. He got to be buried in his dress blues, and there was a volunteer there holding his hand, breathing sacred air through his final journey. And we do that day in and day out when people are alone. So we're proud, and you should be proud of your American Red Cross, because we do really, really, really good stuff. But we can't do it without you. We need volunteers to do things with our military. We need volunteers to help us to go out in the middle of the night. We have a special training, kind of a boot camp on April 23rd to bring people up to speed and get them going. It's not a big commitment. It's not a lot of time. It's being on call once a week, every few months, and you may or may not go out for disaster action team. But I got a feeling that there might be a veteran or two in here that at some point in their life might want to find some time to be involved with our Service to Armed Forces mission. And if you do, we would be honored and consider ourselves very privileged for you to reach out to us. The last thing I'd like to mention is our blood program. Many of the things that I've talked about today, if there is any money left over on the blood side of the American Red Cross, it is reinvested into your community. And we need our blood program. And we need this club's support of the American Red Cross blood program. We are using American Red Cross blood at one of our hospitals here. But, you know, we want there to be blood wherever people need it, wherever they are. I read an update from Nolan Richardson, a little boy from our community that said, St. Jude's right now, and he receives numerous platelets and whole blood through his cancer treatment that he's having. So blood is something that only you can give, and I know that you all have blood mobiles, and I thank you for those of you that do give, but I really would like to encourage you at some point to consider coming back to Red Cross, because we miss you, we need this club, and we need you as community partners. So I hope that you know, at some point you all will give that some thought. The last thing I want to mention is who knows how many years American Red Cross has been in Catawba County? I have a door prize, so you need to guess.
87.
How many?
87.
No.
120.
Less. More than you. Who said 100?
Me.
All right. You get to take sweet stuff home.
Yes, I win 20 of these.
Did we disqualify you because your wife's a board member?
You may if you wish, I don't know.
She may have mentioned it.
You think that means anything to me as far as knowing anything?
No, really, actually, I don't. Okay, yeah, I was just trying to, you know.
Thank you,
give us
thank
credit.
you.
That's a box of cookies from Trader Joe's, so share as you will. It is our centennial, a part of all the things that we're talking about. We are so proud to have been in Catawba County for 100 years. That's a long time. And we're doing some special things for our centennial. One of those is identifying zip codes. We've gotten more sophisticated in our record keeping, thank the good Lord. And so we went back and we looked in the Blue Ridge Piedmont chapter, which is 12 counties. We went back and we looked, where had the most fire responses been in the last 5 years? And so we got those zip codes, and we're going into those specific zip codes and focusing on preparedness and smoke alarm initiatives. And one of the zip codes that, there were two actually in Hickory, and so on March 8th, we're going with the Mountain View Fire Department. We're going to partner with them, and we're going into Mountain View to do smoke alarm installations, and we're going to partner with Piedmont Natural Gas to do that. They'll check for CO2, and then we'll do the smoke alarm installations. So we have a lot of things that we're doing surrounding our centennial, but one of the things that we want to do is have something as simple as a cake and you know, punch, and have elected officials and people in the community just to come by and to celebrate with us the fact that we have had the extreme honor of being in this community for 100 years. So I'm running out of time, but I want to leave a few minutes for questions in case you have any. I tried to cover new stuff that I hadn't talked about before. So does anybody have any questions about anything that I said or didn't say? Yes, Ann.
You said that Red Cross provides blood for one of our hospitals. Which hospital is it?
Right. We provide blood at Catawba Valley also because Community Blood Bank doesn't always have special types or all of what's needed. So we actually provide blood to both hospitals, but we do have a blood contract with Brian. So, any other questions? Yes?
I just want to commend you on doing this program with no notes. I was very impressed.
You know, I do services with no notes too. Thank you, that's very kind of you. One last thing. If you all, anybody has a place that you can put one of these volunteer flyers, they're very simple. If you eat at the snack bar, if you can put one up. This explains about what it is to be a Red Cross volunteer, but it also has little tear sheets, and we'll get back in touch with folks. And you know, you never know where you might put it, that somebody might say, well, yeah, I might like to be a Red Cross volunteer. So if any of you would like one and know any place that you could put one, I would very much appreciate you taking it. And I will not give it to you personally, so I won't embarrass anybody, but I'll take them and put them on the back table back there with you guys, if that's okay. Is that all right? All right, thank you. Thank you, John.
And Thank you, Susan. I have a gift for you here. A
Yay.
Rotary tote bag that you can use to carry
Thank you.
blood bags or other supplies about.
I am a bag lady.
Now, if you'll wait up here, John Olson is on his way. We have one last privilege for you.
Oh, okay.
It's time for our Service Above Self Scholarship raffle. In just a moment, I'll have the update for you. And Susan, I'm going to ask you to draw the winning ticket and make a new friend.
A lot of new enemies.
Oh, no, that's good.
Because that was a terrific program. Oh, some are stuck there. Susan, if you'll do the honors.
If I pull John Watt's ticket, I get whatever it is.
And what is it today, John?
We have $72 brought in today, $363 total, 47 cards, and 1 joker.
Okay. 786083.
Yes.
6083.
083? Yay!
Go.
Let's verify that.
It's a
By
match.
George, it's a match.
Step right up. Three of hearts. We will treat you to a free lunch.
Good go.
Thank you very much. Thank you to Robert Broom, our sole visiting Rotarian. Is he still in the room? There he is. Okay. Don't forget, it's in your spoke today. The district conference is coming up soon. If you are interested in volunteering, you can go to the district website and see information about opportunities there. It is in Hickory this time, so we do want to make a good showing there. Don't forget your coins for Alzheimer's Research Trust buckets, the blue buckets on your tables for your coins, folding money, negotiable securities, gold teeth, what have you. And now, please rise and join me in closing with the four-way test. Of the things we think, say, and do, is it the truth? Fair to all concerned. Build goodwill and better friendships. Will it be beneficial to all concerned?